Hi everyone, it's Sunday evening and I was sitting down getting ready to do an herbal blend for Jen, and we thought this might be a good time to continue our discussion on immune system function and what we do to keep ourselves healthy. So we've talked about a few things here recently: calcium lactate, vitamin D, vitamin F, and vitamin C, which all land on the side of nutrition support for immune system function. But we also do herbs. We've been doing herbs in the practice and at home pretty seriously for about the last 20 years, but have really gotten into custom herbal blending with the liquids in the last year or so, which are a lot of fun because we can really customize what patients need and oftentimes minimize the number of pills that they're taking. But herbs are a tricky one. In the United States, there's not a lot of regulation on herbs and what's out there. So it's very common for people to come into the office who have taken herbs without success. And a lot of times that's because they're taking a product that really wasn't designed or modeled after what was performed in clinical trial. But one of the things that's interesting to me is the question about why we take herbs over nutrition or both. And when we think about it, or I think about it, nutrition is really the building block or the foundation for a tissue or an organ or a system in the body that has to be in place in order for this stuff to work. So I think about nutrition like, if we were talking about an automobile, it would be the physical automobile itself, the wheels, the tires, the engine, etc., where herbs are more like the fuel. So herbs gain favor in our life and in the media because of what they offer in terms of action in the body. So herbs offer a wide range of actions, and I want to name a few of those for you just so you kind of get the idea of what we're talking about. So some of the actions that we would consider would be adaptogenic, analgesic, antibacterial, antifibrotic, anti-inflammatory. You're kind of getting the idea here. Antiviral, cardioprotective, immune enhancing, immune modulating, sedative, laxative. Those are all actions or effects that we're looking for from the herbs that we take. And there's many, many more. I'm just using those as an example. So when a patient comes into the office and I'm doing their history, I'm listening to them and the problem that they might be having, and I'm thinking about herbs that I might select for that patient based on the actions that an herb would provide. So I want to use echinacea as an example because I think most people have heard about that particular herb. And in doing that, I'll read to you what the actions of echinacea are. So for echinacea, the main actions are immune enhancing, immune modulating, depurative, lymphatic, anti-inflammatory, vulnerary, and a salagogue. So those are all the things that could come from the ingestion of echinacea, provided that the formula that you're taking was based on a dosage from clinical trial. So when you guys are out shopping for herbs, and there's lots of different companies out there, we use MediHerb mainly because of the guaranteed unmatched quality of the product. Kerry Bone and Simon Mills, they were the ones that wrote these books and many other texts that are used in colleges today and have really set the gold standard for quality control, preparations in accordance with clinical trials that have made these herbs notable. To me, they're unmatched. I don't know of anybody that goes through the quality control process that they do, but in a generic sense, I'm going to try to give you guys what you need to look for on a label when you're shopping for an herb. So To start with, you need to know the common name of the herb that's being used. Then you need to know the part of the plant that they're using. You need to know the extract ratio. So all of these herbs that we use are standardized extracts, which means that MediHerb is guaranteeing that there is a certain amount of the active ingredient in that herb in each tablet or liquid dose, which would be in accordance with what was used in clinical trial. You need to know the botanical name, and you need to know the quantity of the starting material, and then also the quantity of the extracted material when the process of extraction is done. So without all that information, it's very difficult to know what you're getting. So Echinacea, as an example, somebody brought this into the office. They had been taking this. Incidentally, it says for immune health on here, but on the label, it says Echinacea, 760 milligrams, and then they do give the botanical name. It's Echinacea purpurea, and then it says aerial parts. But when you go back to the documentation in clinical trial, it says here that the chemical that we're looking for in Echinacea are the alkalamides, and they are highest in the root part of the plant. Whereas the aerial parts of the plant, they are present, but in substantially lower quantities than in the roots. So this label tells us that there's 760 milligrams, I'm assuming that's in one capsule, of their whole product. Does not tell you if it's been extracted, does not tell you what the extracted material is, and it's the aerial parts, which is not the traditional preparation of Echinacea. Does that mean it's bad? No, there's probably some nutritive qualities to the aerial parts of the plant, but the bulk of clinical trial was done on the root part of the plant and is what is most effective and what we're looking for. So it's really important that you make sure that the product is pure from everything from pesticides to herbicides, radiation residue, microbial life. There can be contamination. We get notices from MediHerb periodically that they're out of a product because they will take a sample in from that product, put it through a battery of tests, including chromatography, various inspections, and it won't meet the standards, so they're out. There's no substitute for their quality, which we really, really appreciate. Products like these, I don't believe go through that type of scrutiny. They're cheap, but at the same time, a lot of them don't work because they're not producing a product that was in accordance with clinical trial. So it's really important that you have that information when you're looking for products. MediHerb did an independent study on Echinacea, and they did this back in 2014, and they were looking at the top 9 other companies in the United States, and they were looking for the alkalamides. That's the chemical in Echinacea that makes your tongue tingle and makes you salivate. And they quantify those and give that information to us on the label. But just as an example, the next closest company to MediHerb, you would have had to have taken 2 tablets to get what was in 1 MediHerb tablet. And the 9th company on the list, you would have had to have taken 341 tablets to get the amount of alkalamides that were in 1 MediHerb Echinacea tablet. So anyway, we use herbs for all sorts of things in our house, from immune system support to anti-inflammatory support, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of information to absorb when it comes to herbs, and we just want to let you know that we're here to help you and guide you through that process and help you stay as healthy as you can be. If you have any questions or are interested in any of this information, please reach out to us and we'll be happy to help. Have a great night. Thanks.